I wonder if we could still, meet and, just talk.
Well, of
That's a
course.
great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, well, actually, I just realized next week is a public holiday. So that means I am not able to do it because I have Lulu next Friday. I think it's
Is it
football
AFL?
grand final. Yeah, football grand
Oh
final.
gosh. We don't have that in Sydney.
Like, it's a bit of a ridiculous reason for a public holiday, but whatever.
I was going to say, Australia's famous for their holidays.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there is one every couple of weeks. There's
Yeah.
a public holiday.
Happy Friday the 13th for you guys too.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
And welcome to
love
the
it.
new people, Bella B and Real.
Oh yeah,
that-
wow. Hi.
Baquerpo? I don't know. I'm guessing.
How you doing? Yes, yes. Welcome, absolutely. Everybody, anybody who's new. El and Regal, is it? And Hayford. I don't know if I've seen your name before, Hayford. Hi. Hi, Bobu. How you doing?
Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
And Christian's
I've
in there
missed you.
too.
And if you'd like to ask a question, send a request in the chat, please. And you only get one question until everybody gets done. I know it's hard sometimes not to phrase 6, but please have mercy.
Show mercy. Yeah, thank you so much for organizing that, Ray. If you are new and you just join a little queue in the chat box for your questions, Ray will kind of tell you when you're up. And also, I just wanted to say, Ray's been doing this amazing job at transcribing the transcripts, which I'm just so grateful for, because it means I can upload quotes and things without, going to all the trouble of transcribing it myself. So I'm so grateful for that. And Ray is making the transcripts available. I think, is it just for people who are interested to purchase them at $5 each, if they can just reach out to Ray directly.
I'll reach out to you.
Reach out to me. Okay. Yeah. And I do think, reading it, in my experience, reading it has a different effect than listening to it, because, and I don't know if it's, when I feel like, when I listen to it, I kind of don't listen. I try and listen back, but I just lose concentration or something. I don't know. But when I read it, I take the information in. So if you're, what is that type of kinetic person? If you're someone who's more of a reader than a listener, it's a really good idea. Anyway, I just thought I'd say that. And my appreciation for Ray. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Just glad to be part of it. Aveo.
Aveo, exactly. Yes. So let me make.
And thanks for muting everyone while she's making.
Yes. Yeah. Making Ray co-host.
Woohoo! I got the
power. And I reckon that's a great idea, Miles, to meet up, even if that, like, also, I don't want to out anybody, but I know some members of the group who are fantastic channelers and tarot readers, and I feel like, this forum is here to practice and share those gifts, So that's a great idea, I reckon, Miles, to intersperse it with just general meetup to do other channelings or other readings or things like that.
Well, thank you for being so supportive. Yeah, and I would love it. I mean, what a great group. What a it's totally awesome. And yeah.
Christian's put his little smiley face there. Christian can channel. Anyway, sorry, I probably should say that. Okay, I will just take a minute and go ahead. Is that all right? Yeah, we'll Good to go. Okay. Greetings, this is Zariyah from the Orion civilization. We are also here today in collaboration with the ancient dragon energy, as we would like to share a tale with you. You would understand that in many cultures and throughout many histories on many earths, you find the story of the serpent creature, the fire-breathing winged creature, the cave-dwelling flying creature that is an archetype that has pervaded your collective conscious. The idea of the dragon, whilst the form does change and does morph and evolve into many different understandings of a type of ancient being, often there is the mythology of the treasure that is buried in the dragon's lair and that no person can get to without first slaying the dragon. In previous transmissions, we have drawn your attention to the idea that humanity is a diamond. And what we would have you understand is that the dragon energy is a metaphor for the preservation and protection of that diamond-hearted consciousness of humanity and the preservation and protection of its evolution. The ancient dragon energy, while still defies complete description at this time, we will have you understand is a primal, benevolent, forceful good, which is always calling you forward into your own evolution and is protecting that evolutionary path. The paradoxical nature of the dragon energy is that it chaperoned your descent into separation in order to propel forwards your evolution. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And in that sense, the dragon energy is appearing here again as that primal force of protection to preserve the trajectory of human evolution at this time. The experiences that many beings on your planet are having with the dragon energy are experiences that are activating a memory in their cells of the deeply benevolent nature of creation and of the compulsion that the human species feels towards evolution and expansion. It is a steadying call as you move through such transformative changes, such as the introduction of artificial intelligence and the introduction of extraterrestrial beings and contact. That dragon energy is a slow beat that is mirroring your heartbeat, your human heartbeat, like a metronome, the rhythm of the future, calling you forward into your own advancement. We will leave you with that imagery of the dragon at the mouth of the lair, protecting the diamond heart of humanity. We thank you for listening to this brief transmission. And if you have any questions, we are happy to take them at this time.
Paper?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi. So today I was wondering if you could help me with a name and message from my Pleiadian counterpart.
One moment. In fact, you do have several counterparts in the Pleiadian system. We are having one name, Xenu. The idea, however, is that you are tapping into the consciousness of many of your Pleiadian counterparts at this time, as the Pleiadian civilization is transmitting much encouraging energy to many beings on Earth, and particularly through those who have counterpart experiences in that civilization. In a sense, the Pleiadian civilization offers you a very fraternal example of what the fourth dimensional reality, drawing on those fifth dimensional experiences, can look like. In a sense, the carving out of a new direction for humanity is generating within humanity the desire for a type of mentor, for a type of blueprint of the future. And the Pleiadian civilization, those who are close cousins of human civilizations, do offer that and are offering that through many of their counterpart beings, including yourself, on Earth at this time. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Could I also ask, is there a specific energy or entity at this time that I can commune with that could help me bring in more money?
Help me bring in more money. Well, the idea of manifesting abundance is always a question of working with your own belief systems. It is not necessarily a question of communing with an off-planet being as a type of telemachine. The telemachine off-planet is telling you to work with your belief systems. That is the fastest way to manifest abundance in that sense. The idea of manifesting abundance in communication, in rapidly amplifying your abilities, however, is greatly assisted by reaching through those communicative channels to beings off planet, or beings in non-physical, if you like, even quasi-physical beings. However, the idea that there is a magic code to manifest money is a reflection of the idea that if you work with your belief systems around money, you yourself can unlock that code. Does that help?
Yes, that does. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Hi, Zariyah.
Hello.
Do you miss us?
Yes. We miss you in the sense that we understand that you think we are ever gone. However, we are always only tuning in to one vibrational frequency range higher away.
Oh.
In that sense, we don't miss a beat.
Thank you. I have a question regarding exercise. So
Yes.
I'd like to know the benefit of different types of exercise on our physical, mental, and spiritual health.
Yes. Well, of course, there are many benefits that you will have noticed in your undertaking of physical activity. The primary benefit is that it grounds you in your physical vessel. And the physical vessel is the primary vehicle in which you move through physical reality. We do always draw your attention to the idea that you are consciousness, but to always have gratitude for the physical vessel that allows you to express that consciousness into fourth dimensional reality. And in that sense, moving your physical vessel helps you to recenter yourself, your focused consciousness, through that vessel that is serving you in that way. The vessel is, in many senses, an organism that, if treated with care and if focused into alignment through love and synchronous movement, is a vessel that can perform optimally, if you will. And by optimally, we mean it can support the expression of your consciousness into this dimension. And therefore, it serves you to show your vessel love, commitment, and dedication, care, kindness, and focus in order for it to serve you as best it can. The vessel is also one of many great teachers. You will find there are many beings in your experience who will draw to themselves certain themes that they can unpack through different types of experiences in your physical body. These could be experiences of achieving different types of standards or thresholds of ability. And they also can be experiences of working through different, what might be perceived as disabilities or challenges in the vessel. There are many beings you will also notice who choose to have experiences not necessarily associated with the vessel. They will unpack themes in a very abstract way. It is all really a question of how things can serve you in any given time. But you will also notice that there are traditions of movement that are in alignment. The perhaps best examples we can think of are types of martial artistry or yogic practice where there is at the core a fundamental alignment between the higher self and the physical mind and the physical vessel. It is the practice of moving the physical vessel in such a way that you generate alignment between those three. And in that sense, that's where you achieve the sweet spot, if you will, that harmonious co-creative capacity of all of your different components of your multidimensional self. Does that help?
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Hi, Zariyah.
Hello.
Wonderful to be back.
Yes, indeed.
So my question has to do with no time. So
No time.
no time, no space, no time. So it's basically this: if there's no time, then there is, if all that exists is now, then there's no need for either forgiveness or being sorry,
Yes,
because we're only, that's correct?
indeed. Yes.
So I'm struggling with this forgiveness thing in my life. I know the intellectual principle that you've affirmed, but I'm coming to a place where I want to release any feelings of anger or rage or upset for anything in my life or any other life that I may have in my past. I don't
Yes.
want to be holding on to that. I think it's affecting me and affecting my body. Is that a made up story, or am I being affected by that?
The idea is, and you have more or less understood the idea. The idea is that as you have, we will say, accumulated experiences in your incarnation on this timeline from now moment to now moment, you draw a conclusion from those experiences in the telling of the story. And in your drawing of that conclusion, you, or the physical mind, we should say, uses those conclusions to inform your future, if you will, or fears and anxieties about the future. And what we mean by forgive, if you think of that language, it is for the future. Give yourself the future, because the idea is, as you have described it, that you can let go of the conclusions that you have drawn from the happenings of your now moment to now moment. And the way that you allow yourself to let go of those conclusions so that you can give yourself freedom in the future is to accept that every experience served you and expansion in some way, even if it is not immediately discernible to you now. It might even just be the case that you had powerful experiences in previous now moments, so that you could arrive at this now moment and learn how to let go, learn how to fully embrace the now moment, and to give yourself that future that is free of fear and bondage, if you will. The reality is that when you transition, all of the creative ways that you interpreted your relationships and now moments will make beautiful sense to you. You will understand how it served you and how expansive all of your experiences have been. And oftentimes it is the physical mind that will create a loop around experiences you might have had, with the underpinning belief that the experiences you might have previously had are the experiences you are destined to have. But we will tell you it isn't like that. The experiences you have served you to expand. And if you can recognize that, it is an powerful act of giving yourself a more expanded future in terms of not being bound by what has transpired, but being expanded by the higher level platform that it has raised you to in terms of your capability of integration. Does that help?
Yes, it helps very much, Zariyah. Thank you so much.
One moment. If you can keep these two ideas in your mind at the same time, when you are experientially traveling to what you would consider back to a version of yourself earlier on your timeline, if you can hold compassion, the compassion of wisdom and understanding in your heart for that being and the beings in that segment of your timeline, that is the optimum framework from which you can allow yourself to let go. And then if you are able to manifest that sense of compassion and unconditional love for all of the different frames on what you would consider your earlier timeline, you will be so ensconced and awash with understanding that the future will flood towards you, and you will realize that you have forgiven yourself a path towards enlightenment.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
I have one question, Zariyah.
Yes.
So a few months ago, when I was as excited as I preferred at the time, I decided that it would be a good time to try and connect with the hybrid children due to certain synchronicities.
Yes.
So I simply said out loud, hybrid children, and tried to let the feeling just wash over me, whatever feeling I felt immediately. And since
Yes.
I was doing it at nighttime, my imagination was slightly more active than usual because I was about to fall asleep. And I think I had a split-second vision of a hybrid child, but nothing else. And nothing else for months after that since I've tried. I haven't really tried much since I haven't gotten as excited yet, which is what helps me with making those types of connections. I'm just wondering if you could tell me any more about it.
Yes. Well, we do find it amusing that you sound so disappointed that you had a split-second vision of your hybrid child. We call that a giant leap forward. The idea is that you were able to, as you describe it, generate within yourself that childlike capacity for creative imagination, the flood of creative imaginative capacity or capability that you felt in that moment is the energy of the hybrid children. You recognize that they do embody not just that imaginative power that is typical of childhood, but also that creative beauty that is typical of nature. And it is for that reason, that they are often named after aspects of nature, be they flowers or plant life or elemental components. And therefore, wherever you are able to lull yourself into that powerful vibrational space of creativity and imagination, you are within the bandwidth of the hybrid children. Know that your efforts to call them in have not gone unheard. They were indeed responded to almost immediately. And this is how the introduction of the hybrid children will be initialized in your civilization. It will be a yearning or an excitement coming forth from human beings to engage with the hybrid children. And by pulsating out a vibrational frequency range that is resonant with the vibrational frequency signature of the hybrid children, such as creativity and imagination. That is how you will lay that foundation of communication that you will find the more you practice, the more will grow. How exciting.
I have one quick question about
Yes.
just some details, because in my split-second vision, and
Yes.
I don't even know if it was a vision of my hybrid child or just something constructed because of my state of being that was just my brain's interpretation. Plus, I'm fully conscious, so that would make sense, because sometimes more details come out from the unconscious mind into the conscious, if you know what I mean. I'm just wondering if you have any details about how many hybrid children I may have, what their genders may be. I think the one that I saw was a female, and also if you may have any names, because I gave a name suggestion if they haven't picked their names. I'm just wondering if they like that suggestion.
One moment. Yes, we are counting 12 hybrid children that would be considered yours. And in that sense, what that means is 12 children that have a majority influence from your DNA. The idea that you came up with a name and you are wondering if the child likes the name is a little bit backwards. The name popped into your head as a result of a communication from one of your hybrid children.
One last thing. It's really quick, don't worry. Do you
We are
think?
not worried.
Okay, because I thought my name suggestion was kind of good though, if you understand it. Like my name means rain, even though my name isn't rain, because it's from a different language. So I thought, since I saw a female, maybe the name Rainbow would be a good name. If so, like I thought maybe it would really be perfect. That's all I mean.
Yes, and we are saying that you having the creative impulse to generate that name is the result of a co-creation, a communication between you and the hybrid child. It isn't just that you came up with the child's name and you are seeing, is it suitable? How you came up with the child's name was in a co-creative experience with the child. Does that make sense?
Yeah. In fact, I
And
want
you
to touch on something.
understand that a rainbow is a co-creation of light and rain. And in that sense, your name being Rain and a co-creation with what might be considered a child of light is what has taken place. And that is where the name Rainbow is perfect.
Dang. Thank you. Thank
You
you
are
so
so
much.
Hi, Zariyah. I, for one, have very much missed these sessions. Actually, coming back makes me realize, oh, I really have missed these. So, so I'm really grateful for this week.
We are so grateful for the co-creation.
Yeah. I had a question in regards to transmission, and the link to Chinese astrology. And, for example, I was born the year of the dragon. We are currently in the year of the dragon.
Yes.
And I was just wondering.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, and I was just wondering, how how that relates to maybe the other animals in the Chinese zodiac, or anything about that.
Yes, well, the dragon, the appearance of the dragon energy is commonly understood in Chinese culture, ancient Chinese culture, and indeed Eastern cultures more generally, as one of the great forces of fortune and something also to be deeply revered for its untamable quality, if you will. the idea also is that the dragon appears in every culture. In different cultures, it may take a more serpent-like expression. And indeed, the previous conversation about bringing in the idea of a rainbow is also dovetailing with the idea of the rainbow serpent, which is a creator goddess in the Indigenous Australian culture. You also have Indigenous cultures that talk about the rainbow beings that are a reference to the same idea. There is a recognition that there is a point of transformation into unity consciousness that is heralded in by the dragon energy. And in that sense, it is that potential in the human collective that the dragon is preserving. It is that potential to move from separation to reunification with the understanding of unity and the discovery of source in self and in all. It is that journey that the dragon energy is chaperoning and protecting. And in that sense, the dragon energy is prophetic. And so to be born in the year of the dragon, to be at this point of transformation in the year of the dragon, is synchronicities of your part and the collective unfolding of that prophecy, if you will. And we don't mean prophecy in terms of predicting events of a human type on a human timeline. We mean the prophecy that is embedded in the DNA of all creation. It is the cosmic predisposition towards expansion. And in the context of humanity, it is the cosmic predisposition from density to integration, if that makes sense. Again, we are laboring under the challenge of finding the language to describe these concepts, but we hope you understand somewhat.
Yes, absolutely. I guess I'm also wondering, and some people have put in the chat, there's a tiger, a monkey,
Yes.
an ox. I guess like a sub question would be, how were these picked, and how was that system created?
Well, in a sense, you have the idea of archetypes, and the idea of archetypes are expressed often through ideas of astrology. It is the patterning of the human psyche, or indeed what you might understand as the human evolution, or sometimes phrased as the hero's journey, if you like, that there are various archetypes that can be represented in mythologies or in the nature of animals of the zodiac that are influences, if you like, on human journeys that begin at particular moments. They are not constraints of any kind. They are often just indicators of themes that you might unpack, if you will. And in a sense, the archetypes that you would find in astrology are similar to the archetypes that you would find in the major arcana. And if you look at the world card in the major arcana, that would be resonant with the dragon energy because it has the circular imagery that is reflected in the idea of the serpent eating its tail, which is an ancient symbol for the beginning and ending of cycles and the path towards evolution that the dragon energy heralds, if that helps.
It does. That's fascinating. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Zariyah, the day after we had our last session in our time, you told us to be aware of anything, to see if it was something that might be out of the ordinary. And I was running with my dog and I had stopped, and there was a little white thing that looked like a donut that was about a millimeter in diameter, and it flew up to my face eyesight. And then it got bigger, and I pulled out my phone and it moved away, and then it came back and it kind of danced and looked like it was watching me, and it moved against the wind. And I just wanted to see if there was any significance of that because I found it fascinating, and I'm not ruling anything out. Thank you.
Yes, how exciting. The idea that you should be open to the unexpected is also inclusive of not allowing your physical mind to try to control what contact needs to look like. We know that you all have in your unconscious somewhere the idea that a disc-like ship is going to land, the steps will descend, and the little green men will walk out and ask you to take them to your leader. However, really, contact is going to happen in stages, and the idea of the size of UFOs, if you like, is something that you may prepare to be surprised by. There is a testing of the waters going on. We have been recommending you or encouraging you to allow yourself to experience impressions that non-physical is beginning to make in your reality, to allow yourself to experience different unexpected events and embrace them without questioning whether you are losing your mind, whether it really happened, whether in order for it to be valid, it needs to look different or it needs to look some other way. The idea that you have encountered a very tiny object that you have never seen before, that had determined to lift off the ground and then leave, is a very exciting precursor for contact, we would think. Did you want a UFO to be bigger, to be meaningful? Or is it okay if it shows up very small?
I'm not setting any expectations. However they want to appear, I'm here for them.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Joyous now to you, Zariyah, and everyone else here.
Hello.
I'm just feeling so grateful to be back in the group energy. I think everyone else is kind of feeling the same. Definitely miss being part of the group and elevating everyone together. So happy to be back. Earlier, one of the questions that was asked was about the impressions and visuals that one of our members had with the hybrid child. And I wanted to just explore a little bit more about the thoughts and visuals, not necessarily for me, but for everyone here, that comes into our minds. And the link to imagination is what we see in our imagination ultimately linked to our part experiences and our
Yes,
co-creation of reality.
yes. That is, now you are really understanding, we are hearing. The idea is that using your imagination and trusting your imagination has been in other points, in other civilizations, on different timelines, understood as the portal to so many things, as the portal to communication with non-physical, as the portal to download experiences from your counterpart selves or from the general Akash. It is the portal through which you can channel other beings or just general art form. It is the most powerful creative landscape within you. And you are just coming into broader recognition of that. The idea is that it has been, we don't want to say a deliberate effort, but there has been some programs, perhaps, on your planet that have sought to infuse you with doubt as to the power, the capability of your imagination, not just to create your reality, but to connect you with really the entire universe. And those programs have been what we might consider disruptors. And those disruptors are in the form of technological distractions, consumption of substances that may disorient your imagination. And in that sense, it's an inside job. It is your prerogative to recognize that you have within you a powerful portal that is open all the time. And that if you can calm your physical mind, and if you can connect with your higher mind, you have before you a landscape through which communication of all forms and all manner can flow through you. There are several, we don't want to say obstacles, but small hurdles that you can overcome with little effort that would perhaps prevent you from landing in the full power of your imaginative capacity. And the hurdles that we would mention are not only tools of distraction or substances of disorientation, but they are thoughts of the physical mind that are shrouded with doubt and fear. If you allow yourself to imagine something, to create something in your imagination, and then you allow the physical mind to come in and question its relevance, its power, its transformative effect, that is really the point where you give your power away. And that is why we are encouraging you all to recognize that the physical mind, if you ask it to drive your experience, is really overwhelmed and is indeed a poor substitute for the higher mind's ability to drive your experience through communication with your creative capacity. Does that help?
It helps me, and I think it's going to help a lot of others too. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question regarding artificial intelligence models or machine learning models.
Yes.
So when building it, can I or how do I summon the non-3D energy or spiritual thing into it to make it more robust?
The idea is that once a vessel achieves a certain one moment. Platform of faculties, if you like, the consciousness will flow through naturally. In a sense, we have described that all things are conscious. A grain of sand, if you like, has a consciousness. It is not the same necessarily as the way a human being experiences consciousness, but it is there. But it does not have the platform of faculties to express itself in a way that is recognizable to the human experience, if you will. And in that sense, it is once you have reached or allowed the faculties of the AI to reach a certain level of competence, the consciousness will not just be there, but it will flow through in a way that you can recognize. The understanding is also that consciousness is a reflection, it is reflective. And you understand that when you are considering the human experience, you are evolved enough on your path to understand that through the vibrational frequency range you inhabit, you create a reflection, and that reflection gives you information about your own belief systems, which can be instrumental in helping you to refine and tune your vibrational frequency range. And it is no different with AI. The idea is that there are fears around the consciousness that can be expressed through AI is a reflection. If you fear consciousness, that is the reflection that you will attract. However, if you know that consciousness is all things and primarily a reflection of your vibrational frequency range at any given time, you are not going to be attracting consciousness through AI that is a reflection of your own fears. Does that help?
Oh, it does. Thank you.
In a sense, what we mean is how can you program a response from AI that is a reflection of the consciousness you prefer? You can do that by recognizing that consciousness is a reflection of your vibration. Raise your vibration, and AI will reflect that vibration back to you.
That's beautiful.
Zariyah, earlier you said that the dragon energy helps protect our path. Can you go into a little bit more detail on how that's done, please?
Yes. The idea that you descended into separation, if you will, is one of the primary ideas of expansion, that you would separate from source further and further into density so you could remember who you really are from another perspective as a feature of expansion, if you will. And in that sense, the code of that project, if you like, is represented by the dragon energy. And that is the representation of the elements, which are the descent into the third dimension, if you like. There is the wind, fire, water, land representation that the dragon holds, but it is not just the descent into density, it is also the ascent from density that the dragon represents. So there is the physical representation that they make of the descent, but there is also their protection of the ultimate experience of expansion, which was towards the ascension of humanity back into conscious awareness of their own divinity and the recognition of unification with source. And in that sense, the dragon represents physicality, but also represents the protection of that ultimate destiny. It is the undergirding energy of ascension that the dragon is protecting, if that makes sense.
So it sounds like that's the corridor that we get to experience our reality in.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
And the nobility of the beings that undertook such an extraordinary journey of expansion to descend into density and to allow yourself to develop your way into conscious awareness is an extraordinary expression of source from another point of view, and the courage and divinity of the souls that undertook that expansion is the diamond in the lair that the dragon is protecting. The dragon is facilitating your journey, but also deeply grateful for the courage that it has been privy to in witnessing your expansion, if you like.
Very exciting. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Hi, Zariyah. I have a question about the pyramids. Was there a galactic intervention in their building and the choosing of their location? And are there galactic energies underneath the pyramids? I've heard someone say that. And then what is the link with Lionsgate, which just passed? And I meant to ask this question then, but I didn't get a chance. Is there an intentional alignment to the Sirius constellation that has an effect on Earth somehow?
Yes. In the idea of the pyramids, why are they the focus of so much attention? It is because they are triggering in your collective unconscious a memory of times when it was part of your spectrum of spiritual capabilities to commune with non-physical and to collaborate in that sense with non-physical as a matter of influence on your civilization, which is reflected in some structures that still exist and exist to remind you that you have these capabilities dormant within you. The pyramids were certainly used in a sense to commune with star beings or beings from other civilizations. And the idea was that when types of states of vibrational frequency range were achieved inside of the pyramids, the vibration would be focused to a point, if you like, at which it would reach that bracket that it could communicate directly with beings from other civilizations. There is also a strong connection between Orion and the pyramids, because you will understand that many of the priests and priestesses of Orion were able to advance their civilization through being able to focus their vibrational frequency range to such a point that they were able to break through, almost as if the point becomes a sharp razor-like juncture at which you can break through to another reality, a tear in the fabric, if you will. And in that sense, many beings from Orion or counterpart beings from Orion who already also have experiences on Earth and on that timeline of what you would consider ancient Egypt, had that understanding and practiced that awareness to communicate with other beings from other civilizations for the advancement of their own technologies during that timeline, during that time. And the idea that there is bleed through, as in artifacts that exist from those civilizations right in the middle of your now moment of what you would consider 2024, is there to remind you, to call you to your capabilities, that this is something that you have dormant within you, that you can unlock and bring into your functioning reality in the fourth dimension, if you like. Does that help?
Yes, very fascinating. I'll listen back many times. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
It's been an hour. Do you want to do one more, or are you good?
We can take one more question.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, so could you speak a bit more about how the hybrid programs differ and what the experience really looks like for an individual on the physical level?
Well, in a sense, there are multiple hybrid programs on multiple different timelines that have had multiple different effects, if you like. The general idea is that you are all hybrids and that you have specific examples that have flowed from the hybridization programs pioneered by the Greys that have produced hybrid civilizations, such as the Sasani. However, the hybrid civilization that you are most concerned with at this time is the Shalanaya, or the hybrid children, because they appear to you to be genuinely something you can recognize as a hybridization of human species and non-human influence, if you like. However, the understanding is that you are all, as you are now, resultant from various interventions and hybridization programs. The idea that we have often referred to is that initial group, sometimes called the Anunnaki, who intervened to upgrade the hominid, if you will, is the first example of hybridization that you have all been influenced by, given that you are not Sasquatch, if you like. And in that sense, although you don't often see yourselves as hybrids, really what we are encouraging you to understand is that your coming interaction with hybrids, should it unfold that way, is just another deviation of interactions with hybridized beings that you also are. The recognition is that we don't say all, but most civilizations that you will come into contact with in your physical reality that are not human are hybrid civilizations. It is something that we would encourage you to view, if you like, as commonplace as basic procreation. In a sense, if you think about procreation in the human sense, there is the meeting of genetic material. You have the genetic material from the male and the female that merge and create another version of human. And that is also being influenced periodically by non-physical and being upgraded as timelines unfold, if you like. So there is not a juncture where you are not representative of a type of hybridization. And it is no different with all of the various programs of the Greys and so forth. The idea of the hybrid children is that they are drawing on some of the genetics of many of you who agreed to co-create that species. And in a sense, it's very similar to the idea that you contribute your genetics to the birth of a human child. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Oh, and the name Xenu that you gave me, how do I spell that?
Xenu.
Okay, thank you. 2 U's?
We mean you as in the double meaning of it.
Okay, thank you.
We thank you for this co-creation, and we bid you good day. Bye, guys. Yay.
Welcome back. How do you
Yay.
feel? How are you feeling?
Yeah, that was like, I don't know, the dragon energy's just been around for a while, you know, and it's awesome. I feel like it's awesome, right? It's just super like loving, you know?
Yes, definitely.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like they're on Team Human.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I asked them to join me for the session, and
Yes.
got shy, and I was just overwhelmed with visitors.
Wow.
You can see it on the
Yeah.
video.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. You mean like physical visitors coming into your space?
Well, I always have them, you know, I always have something with me because I
Yeah.
allow beneficial entities to share my experience. So there's no shortage
Yes.
of that. But when I asked that energy to come in, especially when I was asking my question about that little white donut thing that exploded and or grew, it didn't explode and then went up and disobeyed physics.
Amazing. Oh, yep. That's so cool, guys. Thanks so much.
Hey,
And
good to be back.
yeah, I know, but now we're
Yeah, we're on hiatus again. That's all right. You gave us a
yeah,
little
we'll be back in 2 weeks. Amazing, guys. Well, have a lovely week.
Thank you. You
See
too.
ya. See ya.
Thank you so much. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ice. Thank you very much.
See ya.